Okay, there we go. Let's get it. Today's cold open question is a discussion. You know, it seems to pop up every year, but we got to give the people what they need, you know. Also, this year, losing Rodri as this season's plague of injuries, feeling like something we've not experienced in a year. With all these injuries, it appears, well, it's not a conspiracy because Bernardo and Rodri have been saying since last March that they're exhausted. Phil Foden admitted to having burnout at 24 years old. We know the players are fatigued and hurting. Pep, however, doesn't really want excuses.
Here, making an effort to be with us, fighting to be with us, and playing with pain and focus and living 24 hours for us. These guys, I will not forget it.
I don't want to have the conversation about who we think he's shading. That conversation all week has basically come down to, like, who do we blame? Battle between complainers and the happy clappers. How empathetic and understanding are you to the plight of the players? If you forgive the players because it's obvious they're exhausted, should we be side-eyeing our bald leader?
If you have another job, might you work with bigger squads in case you get another situation like this?
Yeah, if next season I know that will be 7-8 changes, yeah, I would say I want more players. If I know it's no changes, I don't want it. I don't like to see players. All I have to do is work with them and say, guys, 24 hours. So sleep every single minute of your life thinking of your profession. Has to be like that.
And just about one more about Amarin, if I may.
It's wild. If he will only fortify the lineup if he preemptively knows specific players will get hurt, that's madness. But Pep is who he is. We know this, but why does the front office have to put up with Pep's hard-headed tendencies? So it's time to play my favorite game.
More, let's play the flame game for sure.
My question to you, Sharpie, where are we supposed to point these frustrations, this anger and vitriol? It's got to go somewhere. Point us in the right direction.
Here's the thing, man. You can't, the opt-out is the truth. You can't point it in one direction, right? You have injuries, you have players not informed, you have rotation, like all these things in addition to fatigue, right? Like the fourth element, they're gonna come home at some point. And I think it was immature or naive to expect City to win every single Premier League match because nobody does that. Like we finished above the Invincibles in points many years that included losses because you cannot like draw or win every single match. It doesn't happen anymore. So like as much as we want to say this is the issue, this man has won 6 out of 7 Premier League trophies. I'm sorry. Yeah, 6 out of 7, right? So like it's okay. He has the method down. Now, are injuries terrible? Yes. Do we want to have Rodri? Of course you do. But yeah, it hurts when your best player gets hurt. The Ballon d'Or winner's hurt. Yes, you're going to feel it. And we've only lost our first match of the season. So if you want to point at anything, just point it at life. Like it happens. Shit happens. I'm sorry. This is not the great content answer, Crunk. I don't want to let you down, but I'm not going to blame a single player or the FIFA schedule because every team's dealing with the same schedule. Like shit just happens. And this is November. And we know City hits our stride when the calendar turns to December.
That's some bullshit. I'm mad. Where am I supposed to so I'm just supposed to be mad at myself? Like, what is this what you're saying?
I mean, all I'm saying is this, bro. Like, here's the thing, right? You can be mad. Feel free. Like, who am I to stop your frustration? I also can't like co-sign it because I'm just like, hey, it's 10 matches into a 38-match season. We are still qualifying for Champions League. FA Cup hasn't even gotten kicking yet. And we luckily got out of the I Don't Care About Cup. Thank you so much, Wednesday. Thank you, Spurs. So, like, that's one less fixture we got to worry about down the road. So, like, I'm not going to be frustrated or upset or even slightly disappointed because we lost a match in a game of football when we know what we have, like, missing. Like, when you don't have wingers, you know what? We'll talk about it later. It's fine. We'll get into it. Sorry. We'll get into it.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm not mad. You know, we've been talking about it for so long, and we will get into it later. But for the sake of sake, you know, and if I can, you know, play the heel, the person who has to like fight against it, I'm always here for it.
It's in your core. It's who you are, man. I said nothing different. I love it. I love you for it. That's who you are.
We are making art over here. Capitalize that.
I hate the most is when you don't want the ball. I hate it. You have permission to make a mistake. You have permission to lose. You have permission.
And that's when we get big.
Yeah, I'm a genius.
Attack everyone and send everyone.
I think we're forgetting the most important thing. We're forgetting about focusing just on ourselves.
But we can do better. We need to take the next step, and there's no better place than taking the next step here.
Show ourselves out there how much we want to win it again.
We win 4 of the last 5 Premier League, guys. 4 of the last 5 Premier League. Are we going to do it again?
Don't ask me again about doubles, triples, quadruples, fifth-tuples, six-tuples, and seven-tuples. So
Don't do it. Hey, and welcome to episode 115 of Shades of Blue.
World's famous.
We are
Chargers.
the most comprehensive show about Manchester City, covering both the men's and women's game, spanning both sides of the Mason-Dixon line. We making art over here. Capitalize that. Hey, I am CrunkChocolate, and I'm with the show, bro. It's the dynamic duo here. We held it down for the kickoff show for the baby Blue Baddies, and here we are again later. I'm with Sharpie Charlie. How you doing, bro?
Bro, we back. You know, hey, sometimes like our football club, when you're down to people, you got to show up. You know, you only got 2 got to get busy, and like, you know, we just got to make it happen. So that's what we're gonna do today.
Quick passes. Oh man, but before we get into anything at all, what I need you to do right now, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up for us, show some love, leave a comment on what you thought of the episode, maybe retort to something one of us said. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, any podcast streaming service that allows you to rate and review, please do that. 5 stars, 10 out of 10, whatever rating system they are, max that shit out. And also say a kind word. We appreciate it. We are just talking to the void out there. We don't know how we're doing. You know who lets us know that? The reviews. Appreciate that. In today's episode, we're going to start off with the part of Manchester City that handled business. Starting our episode off with Man City women's segment, Baby Blue Baddies. And then after that, we're going to follow Triple B with shock, awe, and applause. It's when we pick something that happened in the last week in football that we were just like shocked or in awe, or we want to applaud. Back half of the episode, we will be trying to find silver lining in our gray clouds with a loss at Tottenham and the Carabao, along with a 2-1 shellacking at Bournemouth. I mean, the scoreline wasn't a beat down, but spiritually, you know, I felt like I got jumped. Are we hopeful for this week's upcoming games? I guess you just gotta listen and watch to find out. Okay.
Circulate.
right. I mean, as how well City women, I guess, finished the match. It started off a little rough-ish, I guess. I mean, that's what you want to call it, rough. But they handled business. Only one match this week or last week, and also upcoming this week before the UWCL picks up again. So their match against Crystal Palace, who are just out. Well, I guess they were just outside of relegation and have been playing relatively decent as compared to how they started the season. It was a fun match. 3 goals, like I said earlier, by Park, Roard, and Shaw. Woo, that Shaw goal. All right, so line up before we get into everything. We got Keating getting the start. I mean, there were a lot of injuries on injuries. It's just a thing on both sides. Same club, same passion. Same city, same passion, right? So Yamashita, obviously McIver, Alexandri, Shimizu, Lazell, O'Hanlon, Medina, and Fowler. They are all out at the moment. So, Garrett.
Did you just name 8 players or
Yeah.
7? It was a lot. It was a lot of players.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Just making sure.
Yes. 8 players. 8 players. And it's luckily we have the lineup, the players on that side where he put out a starting 11 that really still very strong in my opinion. So Keating getting a chance finally to show what we have been missing. Then we got our back line was Kasparaj, who was held back from international duty. She was having the best time with Mary Fowler, if people saw the video of them goofing around. Then the center back pairing was Greenwood and Kennedy, with Wahhabi being able to play out on the left back. Midfield trio of Hasegawa, Roard, and Park. We had Hemp and Fagino on the wings and Shaw as our striker. We talked about the lineup and we were both excited about it. We were expecting big things, and honestly, we predicted a 3-0, right? Yeah. So like it was exactly how we expected and anticipated.
That's the best feeling when you can like talk about it before the match, hour before, and you're just talking, shooting the shit. And you're like, hey, you said 4-0. I was like, you know what? -2.5 feels good. You like, yeah, 3, like at least 3. And I was like, yeah, 3-0 feels good. And our team, they are who we thought they were. Like this is the first time that we saw basically things clicking offensively, and we'll talk more about it now. But like, it was great to know that from the beginning and then to see it happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we'll start off with Keating. In the kickoff show, I was saying specifically that I think our attack is just going to run so smoothly with her and her distribution skills, and they were silky smooth the entire time, even in the first 15-20 minutes when they were holding on to possession the entire time. Like if they lost the ball, they were immediately getting it back, but they were struggling to get up the pitch because Crystal Palace was very intense with their press. But when I say the passing was beautiful, like just monstrous possession, like overall, let's see, in the first half, it was 79% possession. They had 300 more passes than Crystal Palace. It was just
wait, not 1, not 2, but 300.
301 if I want to be specific. 300.
We love specificity. That's wild, bro. That's insane. That's domination. That's all you could ask for out of a football match.
And the goal by Park was almost exactly what was needed. It was someone needed to grab a goal out of nowhere because of the fact that Crystal Palace, their press was so intense. They were blocking every single shot, or they were doing a great job. And that park shot, like just clip the ball in the air. And honestly, she was running off a defender, and then she clipped it up in the air. And you at first I went, oh no, and then it quickly went, oh yes.
I think I heard the commentator here on YouTube talk about how like she knew that was going to the goal. Like she did that on purpose, right? Like it wasn't like I'm gonna hope for this. It was like, no, like I'm shooting the ball and my goal is to get the keeper so far away from that corner because she's on the near post. I have the angle to get there. And like the courage, the ambition, just the creativity to say, I'm gonna take this shot. Because it's not a great shot. I'm sure the XG on that is less than 0.5, right? It's not a great shot at all, but it was what was needed. And I know at that point it was 40 minutes into the first half. And I'm thinking we're dominating this match. We haven't gotten the goal yet. And we shouldn't lose, but it would be nice to go leading at half, right? So when she hit that, I literally yelped. It was a beautiful it was a great noise. Because it meant, hey, we're up now, and I know we're not losing this match. Like the floodgates will open, they will have to come out now, and they weren't like super sitting back. Like they did press. We're just really good at keeping the ball up until that point. But it was great to see. And I had said like the couple of passes, if you remember, like she was a little off that match. Like it wasn't her best first half, but when she saw a moment, she took it, and that's all they say. What grab the game by the scruff of the neck or whatever. Like that's the cliche, and that's what she did.
And that's exactly what she did. And in the second half, they brought the intensity. They continued pushing things. There was early sub for Crystal Palace, and I think that's kind of usually when you can catch somebody is right after a sub, and we were able to do it. They flying up the pitch. I want to say it was shout out. Hold on. I'm my brain and I'm trying to pull it up together. Kennedy, she had the key pass because she walked up the pitch and then like launched the ball into Roard, and that's when the ball went out wide, clipped in, and then bounced off a bunny. She left it. And it's funny when you watch the clip, the second bunny sees Roard's running up to it, she legitimately, you see the shoulders relax. Or she's just like, yeah, she's got it. And sure enough, cool, calm, just slots it right in to the corner. The keeper just watches it go in.
How many times do we see players sky that ball, right, over the bar, or they hit it left of the bar, right? It's just that it takes a lot of composure, right, to just say, hey, I'm here. I finish this all the time. We do this every day in training. This is not a new thing for me. I'm a professional. I'm wearing the 10 shirt. Like it's something we take for granted because you should do it, but we know should doesn't always happen. And so I value every goal I see now. I will not be spoiled by these moments because it takes a lot of things. Like the cutback had to happen at the right time. The finish had to be clinical. Like you said, Bunny had to just like lay off and go, you got it, girl. Like everything was happening at the right place. And so once that happened, I knew it was a matter of like, not if we win, it's just like, do we get 3 or 4? That's all I thought. What did you think? Like, did you think we get 3 or 4 after that?
I was actually hoping we did exactly what fucking Gareth did. Was he made subs in the 59th minute, and people weren't happy, actually. I was thrilled, but then when I started checking the feed, like, people were pissed off because they took off Hemp, who was cooking, understandably, but she's always going to start. Most matches she's going to play 90 minutes. If we can get rest from her, we need to get it for her when we can. And it was a chance for Chloe Kelly to come on. So Chloe Kelly came on for Lauren Hemp, Gracie Pryor. Shout out to her. I believe this was a WSL debut because her debut, she had a Champions League debut. Who has a Champions League debut before they have a league debut? That's insane. But
levels to this, okay? That's what we do.
And Gracie Pryor replaced Queenwood Alex. And yeah, the Khadijah Shaw made it 3. Jess Park scoring, supplying, amazing. Just took it out wide, clipped it in. just a dynamic header. That was a bunny dunk, and I feel like it's been a while since we've had a true. But that was the ball.
Bullet header.
Yes, I was lit.
I want to make a point about Gareth, right? And like his choices aren't so much of like, oh, what is this match going to be? It's, oh, we know we have a match on November 8th, November 12th, November 16th, November 21st. That is 4 matches in a 13-day span. And so he's not thinking about like how much can we run it up on Crystal Palace. He's like, oh, I want to secure Champions League before we get to Barca. We got to go to Spain in December. I want to make sure we're ready for Spurs, which is going to be tough on Friday. We'll be at home, which is great, but we got 2 home matches in a row. And of course, on the 16th, you got to go to Chelsea. You got to go to Stamford Bridge. So he's not looking just in the moment. This man has been through it. He knows, he understands, like, hey, Hemp has to be ready. Now, I will say, out of all the subs, I'm disappointed that Bunny didn't come off because there's no second striker now, right? Like, Viv is out, post-surgery. Minor surgery, as they say, but post-surgery. So it's like, hey, if anybody should come out, please, let's get Bunny. I don't care. Go to a back 6. I don't give a fuck. Luckily, nothing happened. But, that's the one I was really like, wait, why is she still on the pitch? But that's a part of doing your striker, like, hey, your striker wants to score. And if you can get them goals, you get them goals. And I don't think Bunny was going to put herself in any, harsh predicaments in that last 30, 20 minutes. But I love the discipline by Gareth to say, hey, we got bigger fish to fry.
Yes.
We're not just in one competition. We're in 2 right now that are active. FA Cup is coming later or whatever. So, like, this is the moment where you say, hey, let's pull back a little bit. If you score 4, great. If you don't, 3 is amazing. And, let's move on.
And I had tweeted something nice about City, and shout out to Ayush Kumar. He was just like, are you saying something nice about Gareth? I was like, yes, with the extension, clean slate and all that. It was just like, well, because I remember listening and y'all had some choice words about him. And I was like, yes, you were correct. Growth.
We love growth. That's all we want in life is progress. Growth mindset is important in everything we do. And yeah, when the man has secured you in essence a tie in the WSL, has gotten you back to Champions League, has retooled the entire squad, right? Like, this is not the squad from 4 years ago at all, except for like Coombs and Greenwood, a few players. Him, Kelly, like, most of the squad knew, like, he's morphed this side into his own image. And I want to point out, we don't, like, I think when you win 3-0, you're so dominant, you don't get into the tactics and all that shit. But like, when you look at the game, the way that Kasparov plays as a right back is so beautiful.
Bro.
Like, she's always in the right spot. She is ready to attack. She's ready to, I got to drop off. I got to clear this ball. If it's that 3 or 4 times a match, it happens. And she's big. Like, she has a presence.
Yes.
And so you don't just run past her. You see her out there. That 18 shirt is there. Love what Wahabi did on the other side. Like, I want to give credit to those defenders, because a lot of our attack is saying, hey, we can stretch you from side to side. And the goal is to free up space in the middle, but you got to have fullbacks that can, like, handle the ball and, like, make the right pass and do all the little things. And so both of those women, like, they did their jobs to the T today. And, like, even Kennedy, right, getting on the ball, making the right passes, progressive passes, right, looking ahead, trying to break lines. I thought she looked really great out there. So great job to the back line. And Keating, she had a couple things she had to do. She did them. Clean sheet and mission accomplished.
I actually want to double down with the defense and give extra love to Kennedy, because before her injury that took her from it, but she had the starting spot, and then we got some players in who were better on the ball. And in this match, you were able to see her be more comfortable on the ball, and that has been a weakness of hers. And she's already physical and dynamic in the air, and if she can get better on the ball, it's going to make for amazing practices, because every player truly deserves a starting spot. And in the end, that is what you want for your team, and especially what Gareth would want.
And like, let's give also credit to the new coaching staff and to Gareth, and not like demeaning the old coaches that left, but it's like players have improved. And what you see is like a more well-rounded squad where you don't have somebody who has a huge weakness on the pitch, right? Like your defenders can control the ball, they can pass it. Your attackers, they hustle back, they're able to make the right plays. Again, everything doesn't come off. I think there were a lot of times in the first half where like, oh, this move is there, the pass was a little too hard. Like you had a through ball that could have went from the wing back or from the fullback to the attacker. There's a little too much pace. It's cool because the motion is there. Like we get it. And so like I think hopefully supporters can understand you're not going to score 7, 8 goals a match, right? You got to have 2 to 3 moments a match. And that's what we're building towards. And the more you have the ball, the more propensity you have, the higher the propensity you have to actually hit those moments. And that's the beauty of having possession-based football, right? So like, I know to me, like, oh my God, we had all this possession, but only 2 shots on goal. But it's like, no, you're building towards something. You're not always just going to hit the ball randomly. You have a process. And that process over time, as we saw last year, when it was 14, 15, 16 unbeaten in the league, right? Like you do that shit for a reason. And so Garrett's process is beautiful.
Yeah, man. And shout out to Blinkilde Brown. She was able to come on for Joe Roard, and Coombsy got some playing time, relieving Spark. And lastly, Lily Murphy able to get some playing time, giving Fujino some rest. I wish you can definitely tell that her confidence is shaken. She's playing better, Fujino, but she is not looking for a shot of her own. All she's looking to do is pass, and it's obvious. So hopefully she can, embrace that killer that she was and that she is. So she'll get there. It's a short, long season. And then next week they play Tottenham. Friday night match. I'm excited. So I can we can make this quick, and then we'll get to shock all in Premier League and applause, because I got some shit to get off. I got some words to say. So just give me a moment to cook. But yeah, Tottenham, let me see where they sit in the table. Tottenham, they're in 7th.
Solid 7th. They had a win today. Beat West Ham.
Yeah, 2-1. And previously, other than that, they've actually gotten beat down and then lost to Liverpool. And also shout out to the fucking Liverpool, man. They're killing it, man. Hail Hines. But we should be able to handle them. They goal difference -2, scored 12 goals, allowed 14.
I mean, before this match of winning 2-1 against West Ham, they conceded 5 against Chelsea, conceded 3 against United, conceded 3 against Liverpool. For those that can't do math, that's 11. I feel like we could score 2 to 3 easily. And yeah, we keep this train rolling, bro. I'm gonna say it. Another one at home, 3-0. 3-0 City. Feels right.
And they played so well. I'm gonna be that guy. I'm doing it. I'm being ridiculous.
Oh, spicy.
6.
Hey, we don't need it, but we want it. We want it.
The goal difference, Chelsea, they're pulling away.
And they have a game in hand. But those women are.
Yeah, United might be able to do something, but
we're gonna flip it. We're gonna flip that on the 16th. We got that. We coming. We coming for them.
So I mean, I'll give away a goal. If we score 6, I'm okay with 1. But
you go with 6-1? Okay. Yeah. Crunk said -4.5. I love it, Crunk. You got it. Take the over. He took the over. That's a beautiful bet. That's at least plus 700.
Man, let's ball out. Okay, well, let's get into some shock all and Premier League shock all and applause. Old me. It's not Premier League.
Did you get my message?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna pause right. I'll be right.
Yep. Oh man, so where do we start? Fucking first, I'm gonna do shock, awe, and applause. Nottingham Forest, bro. What is this? Where we are? Are they good? Is the Premier League just shit like that? Man, what is happening? Who is this club? I know. Like, it's West Ham. I mean, obviously, West Ham, they're just sad and pathetic. And it's a shame. Homie, Big Phil, I hope you're doing okay. Because things are looking bleak. But yeah, they've been balling out. Put 3 on West Ham. Put 3 on Leicester City. It's great to see. Shout out to our oil siblings, Newcastle. Good luck on the 10th against the Nottingham Forest, who are doing their thing. And speaking of surprise, so I want to applaud. I'm trying to figure out, because it's not really a shock. Yeah, it's definitely an awe. Arsenal, oh, hey boy, what are you doing? What's going on? Are y'all okay? Do y'all need help? Do you need a hug? Do you need to talk to somebody? Like what? Like what's going on? I can feel bad about what's going on over here in Manchester City. Our first loss of the season. Oh, woe is us in it. But you looking over there, y'all supposed to be contending. You gave Arteta an extension. All of these Arsenal fans who I kept asking, hey, if he chokes this season, is he gone? And they're like, no, we see him like Wenger. We see him hanging around forever. It's not about the titles. No, bro, y'all sit in 5th. That's not okay. Like, especially with all of the lofty expectations. We will see. It's very early, but just know I've been talking about this since the end of last season. And so when it happens, I'm coming from the top rope, flying elbow on y'all's asses to just laugh. Oh my God, it's gonna be so bad for y'all.
That was great. I'm gonna try to cover some people you didn't cover. I'm gonna go off the board here. Not Premier League. I'm gonna go Barcelona, bro. Barcelona had 3 goals in the first 31 minutes. They scored goals at 12, 23, and 31. The match was over instantly. Like it was like watching them against Espanyol, incredible football. Now I will go to Spurs. Spurs had a week, bro.
Hey.
You can't ask for a better week if you are a supporter of any club where you win against the defending, PL champions in the Carabao Cup. You take care of them at home, 2-1. And then you followed it up with a comeback victory where you don't just win 2-1, not 3-1. No, you win 4-1. You score 4 unanswered goals to beat Aston Villa, who is, a darling in the Champions League and the spot you really want to be in, right? And so that moves Spurs up to 7th, only 2 behind 4th and Chelsea. They actually have a better goal differential. They have a +11 goal differential. Chelsea has +8. Arsenal has +6. Villa only has +2. So, like, if you think about how things look at a little over the quarter mark of the season, right? Like, Tottenham's in a great place. If you have that goal differential, that lead, and now you taking out, one of your biggest competitors, getting 3 points off of them. Hey, we'll see what happens the rest of the season. But it's the hardest thing to talk about the league in the moment because it's so early. So you were talking about Forest, right? None of us expect Forest to be there when it's April. And you got to respect them for where they are now, right? In essence, they secured promotion. They are going to stay up. It's not a doubt. I think the matter for them is like, hey, do we get Europa League? Is it Conference League? Because realistically, they will not be a Champions League team. I am willing to bet my God-given salary that they will not be a Champions League squad with all the other clubs in the Premier League. But for now, you enjoy that ride. You take the high, you ride the wave, as they say. Like, you do all of the things because that's an amazing start. Like, their defense, I believe somebody said, like, costs less. Their back line costs less than like 60 million euros or whatever. Like 2 free transfers, a couple other transfers, whatever. Like, they're incredible. Like, Nuno can coach. He knows how to coach defense, and that's what he always did at Wolves. It made them into like a top 8 side. I think Forest is headed for a top 8 finish because it's hard to score on them. So, shouts to Cricklewood. I second you on that.
Yeah. That. And a real quick one, I want to give a shout out to the club Atalanta. Shout out to Cabot Cove. He's most dope artist that I connected with early in my digital art career. But them, their manager Gian Piero Gasparini, he's Atalanta's longest tenured manager. On top of that, they were cooking in the Europa League, and they are going to be playing in the Champions League. I mean, right now they sit 3rd in Serie A, and last season, they secured Champions League, which it's been a very long time since they did that, I believe. And I believe, yeah. So it's just in general, what I'm getting to is I think he's going to be the next name that's going to be tied to a lot of places.
I disagree, bro. I think he's too old. I think he's one of those people because Gasparini is over 55, close to 60-ish. Like, I don't see him leaving, right? He has the system. If you remember the players, I'm trying to think of that first Atalanta run. It was actually when I first started listening to Stadio, and Musa would always be like, always watch Atalanta. And so I started watching him. We were like, oh, this is exciting. They had the striker who like ended up having to take time off. The names are escaping me, but like that 2021 Atalanta was fire. Right around COVID time. Yeah, and I also want to give a last shout to Moses Caicedo.
Yes.
Great strike. We love you taking joy from United. Thank you so much. You're a good man, Moses.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But I mean, for a team like West Ham, he's young. They love their old men. All right, we'll keep it moving with that. Pep was asked about the Ballon d'Or winner, naturally, so he had a few nice-ish things to say about him.
What can I say? So first, of course, congratulate him and all his family and dear friends. It's an incredible news for him and of course for all of us, for all Manchester City, for our fans. We are so proud of him. I think it's the first time we could never imagine, years ago that one player received this prestigious award. That we are so delighted to be part of it, to share it with him. And yes, hopefully can give him this energy to recover well for next season, be with us again.
Pep is like, bro, I mean this in the nicest way. He's not on the squad. I'm not thinking about him. I mean this in the nicest way. Here's some words, I guess. Yeah, great guy.
Man has other things to worry about with a team of 14 players or whatever. But no, like that's the love Roger deserves. Yeah, nobody saw this coming. I remember when he was like first coming on, being like the deputy to Fernandinho. You're like, oh, this kid is tall. He has some athleticism. He can play on the ball. And he's like, oh, he's an impenetrable force. And oh, he can go forward now. Oh, he can assist. Oh, he can score. He won a Champions League for us. Like, he is really as much as we like to think of it as Kevin, I think Rodri is like the biggest player that represents Pep's era. Because he got him and literally took the young player from Atletico Madrid and turned him into a Ballon d'Or winner. and nobody saw this coming.
At
Like
all.
you would never like Holland. We could see him finishing second in the Ballon d'Or. Like we knew he was going to score goals. That was not a surprise. Kevin, yes, Kevin coming from Wolfsburg, but he won Bundesliga Player of the Year. Like we knew he was great. You didn't know Rodrigo Hernandez had this in him, and so to see it rewarded by all the people that voted was great. And focusing on us, it's like, oh wow, like you can come here and win a Ballon d'Or. You don't have to be at Real Madrid. You don't have to be at Barca. Like you can be in a Premier League club and the first Premier League winner since Cristiano Ronaldo. Which is wild, and only the third Premier League winner of all time, with Michael Owen being the other. So it's just like, hey, if you ain't got a Ballon d'Or winner, or you ain't got a Champions League winner, or you ain't got both, don't talk to me. So I'm talking to you, Arsenal. I'm talking to you, Spurs. You don't matter to me. I'm sorry. You don't count anymore. Chelsea, you got Champions Leagues. I give you that. You got two. That's great. But if you ain't got one of the two, Spurs, Arsenal, bye-bye. Sorry.
Man, yeah, shout out to Rodri. Yeah, we miss you. We love you. Come back happy and healthy. Starting 11 for the match against Tottenham. Had a slight change after the original 11 was announced. Akanji was a late scratch. Diaz came in for him. Ortega, the cup keeper, protecting the goal. Ake, Diaz, Stones, Lewis, Gundo, Nunes, McAtee, O'Reilly, Savio, and Foden getting the start. As happy as I was to see McAtee and O'Reilly on the pitch, I wanted more rotation, especially like once Akanji went down. I would have loved to see Jemai Simpson Pusey to warm up. What were your thoughts on the squad?
Love the squad at the moment, right? Like the weaknesses are what they are, right? We don't have wingers. Mateus Nunes is a midfielder. He's an attacking midfielder at best. He is not a natural left winger in the element of Doku or Grealish. On the right, Bernardo Silva, excellent player. He is a central midfielder. He is not a right winger or right midfielder. He plays there, but that's not a skill set offensively. So you just knew, like, hey, I love the talent here. And I want to say this now because it's going to come up later, but I want to say it now, right?
Go for it.
Kyle Walker playing and choosing to play after not being fit and Pep doing it was a gesture to the club, because he had every right to say, hey, I'm not ready, Pep. But Pep knows that Rico Lewis is on his last legs. This kid has never played this much. He's played intense matches for 3 straight weeks. But Cal was like, hey, I can give you whatever I can give you. I'm not fully fit. Obviously, we found out later he didn't train for 19 days or something before he had one training session. So it's like, if this player was of a different hue, it would be talked about. If it was Gundo, like, oh my God, he just gave so much to the club. He tried his best. He left it all out on the pitch. But because it's Cal Walker, it's like, oh my God, why is he playing? Well, do you want Rico Lewis to fall? Do you want the 19-year-old who's about to turn 20 to succumb to injury when we know players are overworked? Like, so I just think, like, seeing Kyle Walker there, I am personally happy, and I understand why the masses were upset. But it's also like, no, like that's being a servant to the club. When you say, hey, I'm going to be out here when I really shouldn't be, I don't need to be, but I'm going to do it anyway. That's captain behavior. That's not just somebody that's saying like, oh, I'm just going to sit back and I'll see you at the international break. Good luck. That's something I'm going to try my best to step up and be there. So I was happy with the lineup, and it is what it is. But Bournemouth, those cherries, that lineup was very wild. They got some hitters in the front.
Yeah, I'm with you with the Walker situation. I was gonna ask you about it anyway, where it's just like, who, again, blame game. Like, who is it Kyle Walker to be like, no, I ain't got it, even though, Pep said that random thing about I need people who are locked in, basically. Or is it Pep should have known, hey, you haven't practiced in 19 days. I don't know. I don't know anymore. I'm just watching the games.
But you know what, though? Like, here's the thing. We know the result. I think this is where we got a real conversation, right?
Yeah.
It's like, if Kyle Walker doesn't play, nobody blames him, but it could actually be worse for the club long term. because let's say he doesn't play hypothetically, and then Rico plays when when Pep knows he's tired, the physio knows he's tired, whatever, and all of a sudden now he picks up an injury, a niggle that turns into, oh, you need 4 weeks, oh, you need 5 weeks, and now you're just like, oh, I don't have either one of these players at full fitness, right? So it's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. We can get right to it because that
Yeah.
first goal, I don't believe in my memory Phil Foden was out here. I mean, I'm sorry, Kyle Walker was guarding the ball. That was Phil Foden who was on the cross from the left back, right? Like Phil Foden did not stop that cross coming in, and then the cross got there and the goal happened. So I hate when like people and supporters and fans, whatever, just get on one player. I'm like, no, like he's like Kyle Walker is not the reason that we gave up both goals. The second goal, if you want to say, cool, I'll give you that, whatever. But the first goal, Phil didn't stop the cross. Like that was the way it worked. And I hate that I see it. And because for me, being a black man in America, my natural bias is race. And so automatically I'm like, wow, you want to blame the black guy because the white guy did it right in front of you. He did it. Like he just didn't make the stop. And that's okay. It's not his job. He's not a defender. And that's the reason the cross got in. But to be like, oh, get out of my club, Kyle Walker, do all this. Nobody said Gundo get out of my club, even though Gundo's been shit for 3 weeks.
Mhm.
You heard that? And when they get out of the club, it's just like, oh, he's not playing well. He has it in him. He'll bounce back. But it's like, oh, nobody said Gundo's on his last legs or, whatever, blog you look at. It's like, why aren't we saying this about him? But all of a sudden, Kyle Walker, who has not trained, who is not fit, is all of a sudden now like, oh my God, he got to go. Because I saw Rico Lewis try to recover. And I don't know if you saw it, but my man don't got the pace, boy. he ain't got, top end Kyle Walker pace. He ain't got 80% of Kyle Walker's pace. So I saw that in Tottenham. I saw him getting ran behind easily and not even being able to cover down the space or close the space down. So I'm just saying, like, I want us to have like logical, fact-based discussions and not feelings or emotions, because feelings and emotions are what drive the sport. But when you analyze it, you got to be real. Like, one player is not the responsible, like, is not terrible and did everything wrong in both instances of goals, like, or whatever. Like, that part of it, down, we go to player ratings and all this stuff. It's like, no, like, there are so many players on that pitch who did not play to their capability.
Yeah.
And that's why you get a 2-1 result where you had a bunch of chances where it should have probably been 4-1. And thankfully, Daku came in and even gave us hope at the end, right? Like, there is a problem throughout the side, not just one player. And I don't like that. I would never succumb to that. Like, I watch American football, and even though you can blame the quarterback, if he can't get blocked, if he can't get protected, he's going to look terrible.
Mhm.
The running back won't look good if the line doesn't block. The receivers don't look good if the line doesn't block. So in essence, your most important people are offensive linemen. So like when you're watching, soccer or football, if you don't have everyone in essence, yeah, somebody can get exposed, but it's not just their fault.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. Sorry.
And no, I'm with you. And if you watch the goal, it's everybody. Everybody took their time closing down the ball in that run that they made and all the passes. There were 3-4 passes before they even hit the half line. So that was 3 separate opportunities for players to be there, get there. You can't really blame everything. That was the team failing.
And I just want to say, like, I think Pep mentioned it, right? It's like, we just didn't have it today. Like, they were the better side, and that's going to happen. There's there's always a down point in the season, right? If our down point is this week where you lose Carabao Cup, shout to Tarek, I don't care about Cup, and then you drop points, you lose at Bournemouth. Okay, this is the worst it gets with all the injuries and all that stuff and the schedule and whatever. We know how to do this. Like, people forget. I saw one person, I forgot the name, that got retweeted, like, you're calling for Pep out because we lost a match, the 10th match of the season.
What?
We finally, they're like, oh no, not Pep out. Pep shouldn't extend because it's just his time is done. He doesn't have it.
Yes.
Like, are you serious, bro? It was the 10th match of the season. We finally lost 3 points. That has not happened in years. Like, we don't get off to the start. We usually, like, I remember the year we were 8th. You remember that? We were 8th place right before Ruben Diaz came in, and then things took off, right? But it's like, this to be second, like 7-2-1, Like, come on, bro. Like, we gotta like be upset at the match, but don't look like you can't mistake the forest for the trees. People like this is 10 matches into a 38 match season.
Let's go.
I'm just saying these are numbers. Like you got 28 matches left. Where if you want to be optimistic, we're 5 points clear of Arsenal, who was supposed to be our biggest competitor. We're only 2 back of Liverpool and still have to play them twice, so we control our fate. So it's like, where is the long term, woe is me, we're dead mentality coming from? It's really weak. It's really immature. It's really naive. It's like a bunch of like, I'm gonna say this generation because they're younger. It's like Gen Alpha stuff, like or Gen X stuff, like or Gen Z stuff. Like, what are you doing? Like, have some couth about you. Like, you lose a match, okay. We move. I don't see Phil Foden getting a bunch of slack. Phil Foden was trash today, bro. He did nothing. Nothing. I love Phil. Like, the best fade on the team. But Phil Foden did nothing. And that's okay. You can have a bad match. You can have a bad week. And it doesn't mean you should leave the club or you're not great or you weren't supposed to be the Premier League player of the year last year. Like, I just take it as a bad match. It's a bad week. We go forward. He's getting into form. Like, we're not at our best. Like this. People forget, like last year, bro. We went a whole first part of the year without Kevin De Bruyne. Like, I literally moved into this apartment the day that we played Newcastle and De Bruyne found Bob for the goal that probably saved our season, honestly.
Wow.
Like, that was the day I moved into this apartment I'm sitting in. And so, the fact that it's 8 months later or 7.5 months later, it's like, oh my God, woe is me. The sky's falling when we're 2 points back. Come on, dog. Like, I can't take it seriously, Crunk. I'm sorry. I can't. I had to get it out. It's just me and you. I had more space on the pitch. I was about to get these shots off. This is therapy right now because you see so much and it's like, wait, y'all, come on, dog. Please be serious. Like, stop being unserious people because that's what you are. Can you imagine like if you were another club, you were Arsenal supporter, watching, reading, hearing anybody from the city side of things talk about their issues or their problems when you're in second place and you're 7-2-1 and you average 2 goals a match. Come on, man. It's comical. And that's why I just laugh at people. Like, be mad at the match, but please don't think the rest of the season's a wash.
Yeah.
We win the matches without Roger. We done it. That didn't happen last year. So technically we're better than we were last year. Because you remember that man got that red card and we were done? Like, 3 straight matches, like, well, we can't win without him. We don't know what to do. Come on, dog. Like, man. I'm sorry. I'm done.
You're good. Because, I don't really have much to add. The match is what it is. Like we said, Tarek aptly named it I Don't Care About Cup. And it was funny. I called it the I Don't Care About Cup. Someone, I think, tried to razz me on Twitter. And they were like, of course you're saying that now that you're losing. It's just like, no, if you pay attention to us, that's literally like basically a fucking trademark thing that we call. It's like, I don't care about Cup. It's just the fucking vibes. But you mentioned Pep post-match, the things that he said. He was in his happy clapper vibes.
It was a good game. Really tough in the transitions, but we played really, really good, especially we started really well. The first action, they could run, they scored, but another fantastic goal. Second one, but after last 20-25 minutes, we were really, really good. In the second half, they have 2-3 actions transitions, but in general, we make a really good performance. I'm so proud. So I like the way we're playing. Today Nico played like the Nico we met in the preseason. Jacob was really good, and Jamal played exceptional as a central defender the minutes that he played, and it's really good this competition to use these players to play this Makati. What a game he played. So, and everyone, and good Kova in the second half was amazing, and Bernardo as well. So Rico, the only player we cannot rest. We would like to rest, but we cannot do it. And I'm really pleased, and what I've seen, honestly, really, really pleased.
Really, 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 really pleased. Yeah, that's it.
The kid showed up.
Yeah, honestly. And we move. Let's go to Bournemouth. Kyle Walker, Manuel Akanji, Rodri, KDB, Oscar Bob, Jeremy Doku, Silvinho, Jack Grealish, all injured. Many are crying out to the football gods, begging for Pep to bolster the squad in January. And you know what you're thinking? Did you not hear Pep at the beginning of the episode? And in case you forgot, someone specifically asked him, hey, injuries, the season. Should it inspire you to make a move in the winter?
Maybe in January we have all the squad fit except Rodri. So, and maybe I would say Oscar would be the last stage. So maybe we are all together. When we are all together, the squad is enough. It's complete. It's nice. It's top. But then everybody's, completely focused and fit. But in certain moments, the season, so I remember in the past, 1 year or 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I don't remember, Liverpool had a lot of injuries, a lot. So, and they struggle. But it's what it is. So we have to adapt.
It is what it is. Go for it.
I think the more I've thought about this, the more I realize, like, Pep always says our first goal is to qualify for Champions League, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so as long as you are in that top four and if you're solidly top two, you are meeting the first objectives. As much as we are spoiled with trophies, because you don't win 6 out of 7, like it just doesn't happen. But the goal is to be top four. That is always the goal. We don't want to be like United and yo-yo. We don't want to be out Liverpool and miss it a year or two. Like, that is our standard. So I love what Pep says.
Along that line, I have a question for you, because we all know that periods of domination, they come to an end. But if the end to the reign is due to just like an injury-riddled season, I don't know, it just feels a little different than how, like, last season we were like, yay, it's all vibes. So if we lose, we still have the high of the treble, etc., yada yada yada. The end of this season, and then we ended the season winning, despite, it felt like we were playing chicken with death and won. And then it almost feels like we're Icarus flying too close to the sun. But also the thing is, we've won so much. So it's like we've touched the sun. Fucking hell, we're basically the sun, respectfully. It's just, if the ride ends this season with all of these injuries, how will you look back on the season? And I know this is like a forward trying
No,
to.
I love the question, bro. Like, I'm gonna look back at it, especially if we could secure Champions League qualification, top four, job done. And there's a transition that will happen. There will be an upheaval of the squad. Old players will leave, new players will come in. Like, we know there's going to be a next phase, right? This phase is ending with 4 or 5 players over 30 who are contributing. You got to revamp the squad. That's what City does. We did it a few years ago. So it's like, I see it as like, hey, job done. Not our best year. Just like when the 1 year out of 7 where we didn't win, we still got Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
We kept it moving. And then look what happened after that, right? You get 4 in a row. So it's like, if we got to stop or just for whatever reason not be, the best club in England for that year, okay, you can't win them all. Like, I'm really on like the Real Madrid type of thing. Like, they don't judge their year off of like La Liga trophies. It's about Champions League.
Hmm.
Like, that is how you get 16, however many they have, right? Like, you don't say, hey, let's just go win La Liga every year. Like, no, take that. You got it. Whatever. We're just gonna be top 4. And when you see us in April and May in Champions League and knockout stages, we'll be there. And that's what it comes down to for me as a supporter now. Like, do I want to win every trophy? Yes, but I'm also too realistic to think like we're going to. So that's where I am.
That's completely fair. What I will quick pass back to you, would it be unfair for Pep to leave this year if we don't win? Like, because on the other end, if we give him another year and then we don't win again, then that almost feels worse. So, but it also, like, just sending him away if we don't win anything, that also feels bad. So I don't know. It's kind of like a lose-lose.
You can't have a perfect send-off, right? Like, you're an American football fan. I'm an American football fan.
That's right.
There've only been like 3 or 4 players that get to walk off winning a Super Bowl, right? Like, it's really hard to do. Or players in the NBA winning a title and leaving, right? Like most players, most coaches, you're going to leave off not your best season because you always want to come back and defend it. So naturally, once you don't defend it, okay, we move on. So like, hey, if we don't win and we get Xabi Alonso, okay, like we move. Like this is the next era. Like this is not. We're not going to be like United was, and there's going to be a drop off from Sir Alex Ferguson to David Moyes from Everton. Like we're talking about possibly getting the guy who was able to take down Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga, like and win a double. Like I want that guy. Give me that guy. So if Pep leaves and we get him, thank you so much. Love it. We move because the club to me is bigger than a player or a manager, right? Like I support the club. I support us as a whole moving forward. It's always everybody's going to leave at some point. So I don't want to say Pep, oh, come back one more year just to get another chance at it. Like you've done everything. You were the greatest manager in English football history. I don't care how many titles Sir Alex Ferguson won. I know how many you won in this era, in this time. Like he is the greatest manager we've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
So to know what he's done for us, if he leaves after us not winning, if that happens, thank you. Like I have no ill will. Like I'm on such a cloud watching City, bro. Like it's bad. It's almost like it's like a natural high. It's like taking a perfect sativa hit and you just float. And I was like, hey, whatever happens, bro.
That's fair. No, I love that.
Like Tom or Tarek to be like, yo, you're wilding and you can say it too, feel free, but like it's vibes over here, dog. Now, how do you feel about your own question?
I don't know. I think, yeah, I would be more just upset that the story is over. Yeah, because it's one of those. Again, delusional. Because again, this is all what we would hope to expect. If Pep leaves this year, we could get Xabi. If Pep stays another year, we could potentially get Company. I just feel like there are situations where if we shoot for the moon, at least we're landing in the stars type of vibes, where worst case scenario, it's potentially one of the best young managers out there either way. And, best case scenario, we keep the man who led us to 6 Premier League titles in the last 7 years. All right. Starting 11 for Pep and Company against Bournemouth: Ederson, Varial, Ake, Akanji, Walker, Kova, Gundo, Silva, Nunes, Foden, and Haaland up top. We already talked about the whole Walker stuff. It was just kind of crazy how Pep basically said, no, we're not going to be seeing Walker until international break, and then all of a sudden he pops up. And that was
best liar ever. Best liar ever.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's just like, was he lying or was he challenging Kyle Walker to be like, come on, guy, we fucking need you. You are the captain, and you are not captaining at the moment, or at least you are not what I need you to be as I think a captain should be. Because, he can only be who he is. Okay. All right. Well, good. Again, a loss. Like, where do we talk about with this match? Like, where do we even go? Because
can we start on Bournemouth?
Yeah, they balled out. Like
Semenyo balled the fuck out. He made
people are not like this, honestly, because again, people are raging against the happy clappers. And I wish I remember who I was talking to on Twitter. They were like, we're giving too much credit to the opponents lately. Like, why can't we just be upset with how our team is playing? And it's like,
you can, and I choose a different route. I choose to respect they're grown men playing the sport for the biggest match of their season, and they showed the fuck up, and they caught us at the right time.
Like, bro was balling.
That front four, we talked about it in the pre-match show. Their front four can go. I didn't know how the defense would hold up, and credit to them, they did. But their front four, Semenyo, Kluivert, Evan Nielsen, and there's one more on the other side. Not Kluivert, damn. The front four. I'm not pulling up my phone right now. But Semenyo was a standout, right? Like, he was the guy that you just could not stop. And players have that day, bro. Like, that was maybe the best match of his career, other than I think last year he turned up at Wolves. But for that moment against our club, they did their business. And that left back, Kyrgios,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
he bombed. Like
Yeah.
you see
Milo.
matches where like players will end up in a big six club, and it's like, oh yeah, you two, you will be there.
Yes.
Like Pep said, we will be there, you will be there.
Yeah.
Like you're going to make money. Like they will sell you for at least 30, 40 M's because you have it. When you can do it against City and you aren't just sitting back and countering, but you're like taking the game to us. Yeah, I got to give them credit. Now, do I wish we played better? Of course. Would I have loved for our midfield to not all be, over 30 and to have more legs? Of course.
Mm.
But hey, this is what happens when you don't have the people you need. Wingers matter, bro. That's what we need, a shirt that says wingers matter. Because when you don't have wingers, the whole offensive attack looks crazy. It's so different and it's not fun.
And truly, shout out to Milos Kerkez. He really is a baller. The left back. He is a part of the Hungary national football team with like Zobazai and a few other players that are just like young and balling out. They're going to be this generation's version of like Croatia, where they're just going to be kind of like gritty and can shock some people, make some really good runs. Because unfortunately, I think Croatia's run might be coming to an end. I hope they prove me wrong because they always come with the best kits. But in Hungary, their kits are boring as fuck. So they need to set their shit up. We'll get there, though. They'll get there. I believe in them. What else about this match, honestly? Because, again, we
Ederson saved us. It could have been a lot worse.
That's fair.
He had one of his best matches ever.
Yes.
That double save early in the match. Like, come on, man. My man was doing his job. It was like 2 goals is like the best we could have expected.
Yes.
I will say on the other end, I saw one play where on the women's side, Bunny, just left the 18, came up a little bit, and played the ball to the midfield, and then went back. And it's like, oh, who knew a striker could do that? And we know Haaland has the skills to do it. It would just be nice for him to choose to do it. You got to step up, my boy. You got to come up. Leave the defenders and make them chase you. Like, that would be nice. And again, you are leading Premier League in scoring. You're the best striker in the world. And we got to be fair. Fair and balanced criticism is like, you got to step up, my boy. Do a little bit more, get in different positions, not just going for the cross, because that's very hard to like, that's the low XG versus if you get your feet on the ball. I'd rather you take shots from the 18 than try to get 5 crosses a match. And we saw how that went. It didn't score. And then Daku was like literally the best attacker we have. Like just on the ball, nobody can do what he does. He puts the fear of God in people.
Yes.
Even when you have 2, you can't stop him, really. Like he is something special, man. Like that was one of the best finds with Cheeky. Like Cheeky leaving and knowing that Daku was one of his last like chef's kisses, like that is great work by the whole department, because what he's gonna grow into at 21, I love it. So yeah, what I wanted more, of course. I wanted 3 points. We all did. But how do you feel, man? You got to give me your real, like, give me the visceral reactions, because I feel like you got more under the hood there that you're not letting out.
Honestly, no. I was very upset by how, like, almost like helpless they seemed at moments, because of the fact that we just don't have the legs to close down in those presses. Like Nunes needs to be in midfield, but we don't have a winger for Nunes to not be in the midfield, but also Pep doesn't trust him enough to be in the midfield. And Nunes isn't a winger, yes, but also every single time Pep says anything positive about him, it's specifically that he's great in transition and in open space. He's super fast. That's all he says. So that's all he thinks of as Nunes. And people are pointing out, man, he's doing the best of everybody. He has the speed and furiosity of Doku, but he's holding on to possession like Grealish. He's not losing the ball because he needs to prove to Pep that he can play in midfield. That's why he's not losing the ball. It has nothing to do with what he can or can't do. He has to literally earn the right to play in the midfield. That's it.
Yeah, and but we know like this is where after 10 Premier League matches, you know things are going to change.
Yes.
Like it's going to be a natural progression. Like, oh yeah, you have the legs. You did it at Wolves. You did it at Sporting, right? Like we know what you can do. Okay, we got to move you back. Once the wingers get healthy, Daku and Grealish get healthy, I have no doubt we will start to see Mateus Nunes, named as a starting midfielder, either in a double pivot, probably in a double pivot, right? Like he's more the advanced, but like you need his legs beside a Gundo or a Kova. And even now, like let's be real, Bernardo has lost a little bit. His pressing isn't what it used to be,
No.
and I think people don't want to say it, and I'll be the one too because
He's done a lot of running.
he runs a lot. The man's ran his life away, and like
literally,
it is not the same anymore when he's closing down. People are moving around us. Like Bournemouth played through our press easily. So it's just like things are going to transition. Health helps. You get more options. Who knows what a rested, fresh, hopefully healthy Kevin De Bruyne does? He always opens the pitch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, as much as I want to be frustrated and upset, we just got caught out in our worst possible, starting line, not starting lineup, but like, yeah, maybe the worst, like most unbalanced lineup. I'll say that, right?
That's
with
fair.
no real attackers on the wings. Phil being forced, he is not a winger. Phil Foden is a central attacking midfielder. He is not a right winger at all. He does not have the flexibility, the dribbling. He has all the creativity in tight spaces. He's not beating you one-on-one, just going at it, or else he would just be dominant there. So he's out of position, and so yeah, everything suffers. So honestly, the fact that we even like got the late goal, beautiful cross by Gundo, great last action. They crossed the Gundo, the header by Vardiol, who's I don't know our second best scorer, which is wild as a defender. But like, yeah, we are due for a nice refresh once everyone's healthy. And I think after this international break, we really started kicking the gear because December is when everything clicks. The international breaks are done. All you're doing is playing club football. You're not leaving the continent anymore. You're just with the club. And like, I can look ahead to that and know, yes, we have Champions League coming up and all that stuff we'll talk about soon. But like, I don't know, man. Like, it's a bad week. You can have a bad week and not lose the year. And that's where we are. It's a very humbling week for those that needed to be humble. I don't think the players or a manager did. I just think, the rest of the supporter base need to be like, hey, you can't win every match, guys. It's okay. It's okay.
It is okay.
Go touch grass. Go see a therapist. Go take care of yourself.
Go hug a tree. I know it sounds crazy, but it's actually
Go vote if that makes you feel better.
Go do that.
Knock on a door. Whatever. Get your energy up.
And Vardiol, I saw the joke going around that Vardiol is purposely being a defender, even though he's scoring, just so he doesn't have to worry about people complaining about his goals and assists. Which is just like, that's fair because even though he's contributing, if he was on an attacker, they'd be like, he needs to be doing more, even though he is fucking carrying our squad right now, which is like, shout out to him, but that's not really something you should be expecting from your center back turn left back.
There are so many times when, oh my God, Vardy, you have it, shoot. That's not his job. He should not be the one I'm like, shoot. It should be everyone else on the pitch ahead of him. But those motherfuckers didn't shoot. And it's okay. It's okay. Or they shot, it got blocked. There were so many times Phil shot and it got blocked. And the one shot he had at the end, it went wide. And I was like, well, the game is the game. Just not our day. Not our day.
Yeah.
Just win Champions League and everything will be forgiven.
Again, I didn't even talk about it. Shout out to Ben River. We had our first
that's right,
watch party event and taking that loss. First off, I forgot how insane I am. Like when I watch the game at home, I can yell and stuff. I'm at home. I'm not judging myself. But now when I'm in public and I'm losing my shit, and then I'm like, all right, there are people around me watching me lose my shit. I don't care though. Like these people are now my new family. You need to learn who I am. And I'm a person who might throw a fucking chair because my team can't score a goal.
Big emotions, big feelings. His name is CrunkChocolate for a reason. It's not, calm chocolate. that wouldn't work.
That wouldn't work. Chocolate. That doesn't hit as hard.
Doesn't hit as hard. It is different. So, hey man, be you. That's all that matters in this stage of life. Be who you are.
Yeah, and so shout out. I made some good friends with some people. A bunch of people that I met at the co-ed soccer league that I went to, they came through, and then a whole other set of people came through. Definitely gonna be growing, building on it. Super excited for next week. But yeah, post-match, Manchester City, the 32 match unbeaten streak in the Premier League, it ended. We experienced Man City's first loss in the competition since September 2023. That's fucking crazy. When it's phrased that way, the head loss from the City fan contingency, it feels misguided. But, the players didn't cover themselves in glory, which makes me, understand the disappointment. But that's the word, disappointment, not like vitriol. People were fucking wilding. We talked about that. You tagged us in that Kyle Walker post that was shared by that stupid, incredibly large account. And I even saw a homie, someone else that I enjoyed, shared a fail comp of Kyle Walker, and the music in the background had similar energy to that. And it's just like, y'all bum me out. I don't like the joke. I don't get the joke. It's fucking gross. Y'all need to do better. And that's all I will say with that. It's just like, it's not fucking funny. It reminds me of in that like 2012 to 2016 era when people were making like spoofs of spoofs of spoofs. And the joke was, how badly can I insult you and then say that you just don't know comedy? Like, that's what that fucking vibes are.
100%. And I just want to mention it because I want people to look it up at capital D, lowercase x, capital B, RUYNE, capital SZN. The DX Broin season said, just leave my club, Kyle Walker, too, which is a fair statement. If you want Kyle Walker at the club, great. It was the image. And I will put it up on the screen for those who are watching on YouTube. They put that man into a suicide vest, dressed as, I'm assuming, an Islamist or Arab terrorist, which Kyle Walker has no Arab descent. So you're being like double racist, right? Like, it's kind of wild, like the levels of racism that goes to that. And my response to those that didn't see it, because I actually blocked this, I had to go back and look, say this type of racist bullshit over a football match is insane. Never seen a club captain treated this way. Sadly, I'm not surprised. People will reveal themselves. I'm always gonna lean towards people who not lean to. I'm gonna say like people don't put their photo in their picture in their Twitter handle. They have a right to do that. But also it's kind of cowardly when you want to be racist. Like if you want to be racist, like stand up and put your name, put your picture behind it because you don't want to lose everything you have. Because if that racism gets out, we see what happens when people get caught, right? So it's annoying. Because again, there's another account. I believe it's one that's like titled something about Foden, whatever. It's like, hey, Kyle Walker out. Cool. That's a very understandable football take. But once you go to the levels of posting a meme, quote unquote, like that, that's so racist and so derogatory, it crossed the boundary. And I couldn't let it stand.
Yeah.
I don't believe that, again, Ilkay Gundogan has played terribly this season. Everybody sees it. Nobody has said, go back to Barca. Get away from my club. Leave. It's just been like, he's out of position. He's playing too much. Rodri's out. He was never supposed to do this. We have logical understandings about what's happening. Kyle Walker coming back after 19 days of no training, leaving it all on the line for the club. You saw him pull up at one point like, hey, I can't even sprint fully, but I'm going to try. And now it's like, leave my club and throw on a racist meme. Okay, bro. Y'all got it. So, again, when the day Kyle Walker leaves, maybe it's after this season, find me a right back that's going to cover the things he did in the biggest matches. God bless you all, because I can't wait to laugh at you. Because it won't be Rico Lewis. Love Rico. He won't develop pace. You don't develop that. It just doesn't happen. So everybody's going to be like, oh, my God, he left. Remember when Pep was like, we cannot replace him when we was talking about Aguero?
Mm-hmm.
We literally can't replace Kyle Walker. Mm-hmm. There will be no replacement of what he does to certain people and the fear he had. It's like a shutdown corner. It's like Revis Allen.
Yeah.
Like you just knew, like, at a certain point, Kyle Walker's going to catch up to you. Like, we see Marcus Rashford struggle against him because he just knows he's going up against Kyle, his big English bro. Or like Vinny. Him and Vinny go at it, and Vinny knows, like, I can't get the best of this man every time. So, like, again, when he leaves, he will be a legend, best right back in Premier League history, and you all will have to say, I hope our right back can be 80% of what Kyle Walker was.
Fact.
That's all I'll say about it. Sorry about that.
No, never apologize. Especially sticking up for our fucking club captain. Again, he's our club captain.
It didn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore, man. It doesn't matter because it's not who they want. It's not who the players want that matters. It's who the supporters want. And it's not Kyle Walker, so sorry. He's not really the club captain. It should be Rodri or Diaz or De Bruyne or just not Kyle. Sorry.
Yes, everybody. If everybody got their way, it'd be Diaz.
Yeah, of course. You know, love him.
Bournemouth beating Man City. That made Cherries beat Man City for the first time ever in all competitions. Correct. 2 draws and 19 losses before Saturday's victory. And then, pun intended, cherry on top of the shit Sunday, City broke a Mark Hughes record, which already tells you this is not going to be a good thing. Man City have allowed the first goal in 5 of the 10 Premier League games this season, which is the most since the 2006-2007 season.
Wow. That's a stat, bro. I did not see that one. That's real. We see it all the time. We expect it, and half the time it happens. So hopefully we get better in the next 5 matches, guys. Just don't give up the first goal.
And he's not the only before I get into this other silliness, we mentioned Haaland because after smashing 10 goals in his first 5 games, he's only scored 1 in his last 5, and that was 3 games ago. Is it something we should start like worrying about, or is it as simple as 3 little letters? KDB.
KDB, DOKU, SIVNHO. I'll even give you JACK. He needs his people. He needs the suppliers around him. And Mateus Nunes and Bernardo Silva are dropped down. They're playing out of position.
Yeah.
And when you are playing low blocks, you need the best possible crossers or the people that can get into the box and make things happen and free you up. So, yeah, it's a combination of things, which, again, is the cop-out and the sad answer, but it's the truth. Like, you need your players. You need the best 11 on the pitch to be able to be your best. Even Phil Foden needs them. He needs pace on the wings to free up space. We're missing our wingers. Like, that's just life. And when the wingers come back, I'm sure this looks so different.
Yeah.
In the words of Pep. So good.
In silliness on this Bournemouth, before the match, Pep had joked about the players being drunk at the FA Cup. Post-match,
you referred to the FA Cup final last season, and you said
it was a joke, my friends. It was a joke. I said I'm so bad, to make a joke that you get it. So, of course, we were ready. They beat us fairly, but of course, after the win the Premier League, we have to celebrate it. My guys are really good on the pitch, but off the pitch are really good too. So, and they have to celebrate it. Otherwise, what sense? 11 months to win the Premier League and with 1 or 2, 3 days. But they trained really well on Thursday, Friday, 2 days before the final. And they were better. United deserves to win. We can analyze some episodes, but they deserve it. We congratulate them. And
we play hard on the pitch, but we play hard on the pitch too.
Play hard, party harder. The Pep Guardiola way.
They trained before, and what they do Friday night, that's what they do on Friday night.
I can't control these boys. They grown men, but it's okay. Hey, I respect it, Pep. We were out here lit, and we kept Eric Ten Hag in a job for a few more months. So credit to us.
Literally said it's a joke, but then said it's not a joke.
It's not, bro. We were lit. The player said it. Like, hey, chestnut checkers over here. We got United in 13th for 12th or below. They're in the lower part of the table, and that's a win for us.
I love it so much. Okay, we'll get out of here with some quick previews and score predictions. Champions League against Sporting Lisbon. Our first before many experiences with Ruben Amorim and his last chance at Sporting to go out happily. I hope we crash this. That'll make everything way more entertaining. I hope we smash them even with our sad, rested, rotated side.
I got a draw. I got a 1-1 draw.
I'm alright with that. I don't really care about the score. Like
Yeah.
we started off very well in the Champions League, unbeaten. We just have that unfortunate draw. Not unfortunate, actually. It's a very good thing. And we just need to be in the top 8, which we are 3rd right now. The only problem is, if we enter, they're in the 8th spot. So if we draw, we'll stay above them because we have the goal difference type of vibe.
Yeah.
So it'll be
We're good. We're good. And I say draw is like being cautiously optimistic, right? Like, I hope we win, of course. Like, I think we can win. And also, like, I don't know the lineup yet. This is where, like, doing a show on Sunday before a, Wednesday match is hard, or Tuesday match, because we don't know what's going to happen in the next 24 to 30 hours.
Yeah.
It's a Tuesday one. So that turnaround, even from Saturday, right? Like, who's fit, who's available, you got to be realistic. But what do you think about Brighton coming up on the weekend?
Brighton, I think as people, they're trying to deny that he's in a dark spot, their new manager. But I'm going to talk to Sony. Sony's going to come on to Breaking Bread on Wednesday. We're going to talk about the club and everything. And they're sitting in 8th, and they're doing okay. So I'm intrigued. Again, I could see another draw. I'm okay with this being our down spell. There's so much.
This is the 2-draw week after the 2-loss week. Give me 2 draws, make it to the international break, and now people are coming back. And that's where things get sweet. After this last international break, as per usual with City, end of November, beginning of December, we go on a run. It's, oh my God, City's 12 unbeaten in the Premier League. Wait, why are you shocked? We do this all the time.
Let's go.
Let's do it, man. I'll call 2 draws and be wrong. I don't care. Call me 2-draw Chuck.
2 draws. I don't care what the score is. Draw.
2 draws, 1-1, 2-2, and then we leave and we move. And like, you'll see us later in the month. That's all that matters. We'll be back. We ain't going nowhere.
All right. Well, let's get out of here. Please let people know where they can find you, Sharpie.
On X, Twitter, keep that racist bullshit away from me at Sharpie Charlie. And definitely hope that by the time you listen to this, it's Monday or Tuesday in America and you voted if you're an American citizen. And if you're not, you're out here doing all your prayer circles and candle lightings for Kamala Harris to win the president nomination. So yeah, that's what it is. Shouts to Iowa. Shouts to Ann Seltzer, my new poll goddess. Ann Seltzer changed the whole political talk space on Saturday night. It was lit.
Wow.
Love her.
It was.
J-Ann. Put the J. Ann Seltzer.
Could be stressful, but
yeah, where they find you, Crunk? What they do? I know what you got lined up this week. You got some things cooking up.
Yeah, Sony, gonna be with her on Wednesday night, doing a Breaking Bread match preview with Brighton. We have our lit stream on Thursday. I actually do not even remember who our guests are, so give me a second.
You see
that out. Let's see. Our guests this week. Oh, it's early November. Oh, yeah. All right. We get the other. Oh, man. Noisy Neighbors, stand up. The Podfather, Mole. He's coming through. Let's go.
Ooh, nice. Good hit.
We got the other half of Arsenal 86 podcast, Byron. He's coming through.
That's the BYXT.
And the other half of Chop Soccer, the homie Rox Fontaine. He's coming.
I like what you did there. Spread them out. Let's get both sides of this.
Exactly.
Big Arsenal. Can't wait to hear about what they think, because I feel like how we feel, it might be even worse over there on the red side.
Well, and it's really funny because their last episode was titled Calma.
I remember that. Yeah, I heard some of that. Yeah. So we'll see how they feel after that. No, we calm some more. We still calm. I mean, yeah, it's 10 matches in, but you 5 points back. 7 points back. I don't know. Top 4 though. Three Champions Leagues in a row. I guess that's the mission now. Hey, it's okay. That's the first goal. Priorities.
I think I'm gonna be cooking up some new things.
Missed.
I'm trying to figure that out. And then I think I'm going to do a watch along for now that I'm actually caught up with this actual week on Friday, women's match against Tottenham. I think I'm going to be doing a watch along, a little midday fun. And yeah, you'll see us this weekend for kickoff shows. Yeah, all those things will be shared on social media. Just follow us, check us out on social media at Shades of Blue and W on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. We are actually also on Facebook. Check us out there. So that's mainly where we share the information to the watch parties and all those other
Of course. Yeah. Gotta get people meet the people where they are.
Exactly. So until then, you know the vibes. Shady gang, shady gang, shady gang.